Parce qu'il peut tirer pour récupérer tout.
Something to drink. If you need to drink, go ahead, help yourself, and we'll be back very soon. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patience. Merci beaucoup pour votre patience. Il est grand temps que nous commencions. Merci d'avoir attendu. Et pour aller un peu plus loin, je vais commencer par la reconnaissance du territoire. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kanaika, Pikani, the Tutina, the Yaks, Nakota Nations, the Métis Nation, Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. Donc, merci encore d'être venus. Nous allons commencer notre soirée et je voudrais simplement rappeler que si vous souhaitez aller aux toilettes, c'est sur quand vous entrez, vous sortez le couloir tout droit et vous allez à gauche. So if you need to go to the washroom, please just follow the hallway and then you go to your left. Okay. So the next step now, I would like to invite Joel Kaku for his opening remark, or her opening remark, sorry.
Hi everyone. I was trying to make a very nice speech and very well done, and I will just go with what I have. I'm really glad to have you all here. I'm talking to you today as the chair of the board of ACEP. So Kazi brought me up on board to be part of this incredible journey, and I'm really glad to be here with you. Thank you all for being here. So, we came from Edmonton, all the way from Edmonton. We just parked our car, and we are really glad to have so many people at this event. The very first panel. Thank you to all the panelists. This is one of the activities that we need in Alberta. I just attended an event celebrating entrepreneurs from all different backgrounds, immigrant entrepreneurs. We were celebrating at least et apprécier ce moment. Merci d'être là.
Merci beaucoup. And you can purchase one ticket for $5 or 3 tickets for $10. What do you have to win, or what can you win? You can win one of these wonderful African art. Okay, so just guess how you can get home with this, just $5. Okay, or you can also have this. Isn't this beautiful? Yeah. Perfect. So we are looking forward to having your tickets and move ahead with that. The next person I would like to invite is Mr. Bobby for his opening remarks. Okay. Are you surprised? Merci de venir jusqu'ici. Merci. Je vous ai un peu surpris, mais bon, vous êtes un homme prêt.
I wasn't surprised to be here so quickly. So, bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Je m'appelle Bobby J. For those of you who are wondering, my name is Bobby J, and I'm from Ghana. I'm here to represent the capacity of self-organizing. I looked at the program and I saw it was more like a compendium of who is who. And I said, wow, it feels good to belong to a group like us. So I decided to also come, courtesy of my friend here, who is also a member of our organization. I've always believed that for us as Black people to change the economic landscape of where we stand, we need to change the political landscape. Our economic position is predicated on where we go. So I will entreat you, wherever you are, to go for positions of leadership. That's one of the strong things that we advocate. Don't just sit and be comfortable in your small niche and think that things will change. They will never change. Because see, our mandate is to broadcast or showcase the idea that there's power with people, there's more power with people who are voiceless. The power of powerless people is remarkable. So I want you to increase that. The Calgary African Community Collective came to be during the pandemic. We had a clarion call to duty to showcase, help one of our neighbors who was charged for all of us to move out. In an African proverb, it says, if you are rich and 1,000 people around you are poor, you are a poor man. Am I making myself, is it resonating with somebody? If you are rich and everybody around you is poor, you are a poor man. Why? Because the same poor people would want everything from you. Now you are not, you don't feel comfortable anymore. But if you can elevate all of them, so that you don't hire somebody, say, okay, I'm paying you $20 an hour, that's it. If the person is single, that is fine. If they have a wife and 2 kids, $20 an hour wouldn't go anywhere. So we want people to address those systemic things. Look at where we stand, what do we need, and then address it. If I'm an employer and then you come to me and I hire you, I know right of the way you have 3 kids, you have a wife, and I give you $40,000 a year, would that work well? Let's address those things so that if we succeed, you will also succeed. Thank you so much for your time. I don't want to take you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bobby. That was very inspiring. So, our next speaker, I would like to, before he can come here and speak, I would like to read something from him. So, Ifan Sabi has spent his time as MLA for Calgary Bula McCall since 2015, protecting and defending vulnerable Albertans. Ifan has focused his time in government on trying to give all Albertans the best quality of life possible. In his role as Minister of Community and Social Services, he introduced the Albertan Child Benefit and ensured benefits like AISH increased with inflation. Outside of his time in office, Ifan has been a strong advocate for basic human rights and civil liberties. He worked in law firms specializing in First Nation and Aboriginal legal arbitration and legislation, and has also volunteered with Red Cross Canada, Calgary Legal Guidance, and the Asian Human Rights Commission. Since growing up and giving his early education in Kashmir, Pakistan. Irfan has called Calgary home since 2004. He has a master's degree in economics and social work, as well as law degree from the University of Calgary Law School. Please welcome Mr. Irfan.
Thank you so much for the kind and detailed introduction. You can also see my colleague from legislature, and as well as it has joined us as well. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and learn about the communities, the individuals that call Alberta home. Last couple of months ago, I believe, I was at an event, BWC in Action, Black Canadian Women in Action event, and it was so amazing to learn about the contribution our diverse communities make to our province in economic life, in cultural life, social life, political life. And I will build on that with previous speaker, Bobby Henry, remembering the name correctly. He said that representation matters. Representation matters. You need to be at the table where decisions are made, which impact all of us, like in higher offices, in public offices, legislature. Whatever decisions are made there impact each and every one of us. So I think when you said that, that resonates with me as well, that more diverse representation is needed in legislature, in all institutions of power where decisions are made. In rural government, for instance, there were 300 plus Alberta boards and commissions. And then Premier Rachel Notley, she mentioned to us that if you're bringing some appointments to the cabinet table, you must consider 3 or 4 things before bringing them to the table. One was that it's gender balance. Second was that you have considered indigenous representation. Third was that you have considered ethnic and cultural representation. That was the criteria given to us, and if we don't meet that, we would not bring that appointment slate to the table. And then there were many other things that we did to recognize the contribution of diverse communities. I remember fairly early on in 2016, I believe, we recognized February as Black Heritage Month. And the purpose of recognizing that was that we recognize and acknowledge the contribution Alberta's diverse communities, Alberta's Black communities made to our province. And also recommit to working with those communities to correct the wrongs that have been made historically to these communities. To make sure that Alberta remains a place for everyone, regardless of where you come from, what you look like, how you play, who you love. That has not been the case for many of the communities, diverse communities. And we have a lot of work that needs to be done. But as Alberta MVP, as the official opposition of this province, we commit to you that we will work with you on all issues that matter to you. I have another event this evening to go to by 7 o'clock. I need to be there. I wish I could have stayed longer, won't be able to, but next time. So thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for everything you do to make our province a better and inclusive place for everyone.
Thank you so much. Okay, so our next speaker is not here with us, but we're going to hear from him from a video. Where is our guy? Video guy. But anyways, please don't forget that we still have this wonderful art here waiting for you. So you can purchase a ticket, $5 for 1 ticket, or 3 tickets for $10. So you can multiply your chance of winning. Okay. We already appreciate your generosity by being here tonight, and we know that you can go and do more than that. So can you have some music while I'm waiting for the video guy, please? We will be hearing from Mr. Randy Boissonneau, the Federal Minister of Tourism and Associate Minister of Finance. But it's a video, so I need help with that. So, thank you. Let me find it. Wow. I feel like this was a very good break for you guys to have some chat. So now the video is ready. I would like you to listen to the Honorable Randy Boissonneau, the Federal Minister of Tourism and Associate Minister of Finance. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Awesome. Ambassador of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire to Canada, who has traveled from Ottawa to be here as an honored guest. Félicitations à l'Alberta African Arts and Cultural Centre pour la célébration de son premier anniversaire pour avoir organisé et mis sur pied cet événement extraordinaire. Félicitations à vous tous. Le panel d'aujourd'hui discutera de la manière dont le Canada peut renforcer ses partenariats en Afrique et promouvoir le dialogue interculturel afin de continuer à développer notre économie culturelle diversifiée. As Minister of Tourism, the Minister responsible for Alberta, expanding intercultural collaboration and access between Canada and Cote d'Ivoire and African nations is vital to my portfolio. With the fastest growing population in the prairies and one of the most diverse communities in Alberta, it's always been inspiring to see members come together to support one another and celebrate their different cultures. Our country and Cote d'Ivoire both contain many valuable cultural assets that should be promoted, developed, and made more accessible to visitors and people from across our regions to experience. Canadians of African descent are known for their resilience, their community spirit, and their extraordinary contributions to Canada, for their deep influence on Canadian music, food, language, business, science, dance, and so much more. The UN General Assembly has proclaimed this decade as the International Decade for People of African Descent, the themes being recognition, justice, and development, which is exactly what this event hopes to advance with great partners like the African Center and the Calgary African Community Collective. Merci encore au Centre de la Liberté des Arts et Cultures africains pour son plaidoyer et pour le travail acharné en vue de réunir ce panel, ainsi qu'à tous les intervenants pour avoir partagé leur connaissance et leur sagesse profonde sur le thème de la culture comme moteur de développement économique. I look forward to many great events, discussions to come in the future around these important ideas. Bonne journée, bon panel, à la prochaine tout le monde.
And this is a wonderful transition to our next section, which is going to be the panel we have tonight. But before I move ahead with that, let me introduce to you English and French organizations. He was president of the Edmonton Ivorio-Canadian Community and vice president of the Federation of Ivorian Associations of Canada. His commitment and passion for community economic development and the successful integration of new Canadians has led him to be the recipient of the African Community Leader Award in 2019 and the Government of Alberta's recognition in 2020. He is a board member of the ELIP, so that is Edmonton Local Immigration Partnership, board member of the Uni Theatre and the Communauté Francophone Accueillante CFA. But above all, he is a serial entrepreneur. He is the founder of J. Mina Enterprises in Cote d'Ivoire, Kazi Consulting in Alberta, a consulting firm in economic and social development created in 2016, just 1 year after Kazi arrived to Canada. Kazi is the founder and CEO of the Alberta African Art and Culture Center, ACEP, and that's why we're here tonight. I would like you to give a warm round of applause to Kazi.
You're supposed to talk about my what?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. I cannot forget. So I would like you to give a round of applause to Kazi. Also because, thank you. Do you have one here?
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So just a few days ago, Kazi got an award, a recognition from the Alberta government. And we are so proud of you, my friend, and thank you so much for what you do. Thank you so much. So he will be the moderator, and let me introduce to you the next panelist. So he is currently working as a senior commercial account manager with BBC, a role he started in March 2021. Previously to BBC, he worked at ATB as manager entrepreneurship. Prior to his banking career, he was a geoscientist with ExxonMobil, where he worked on exploration and development projects. Before that, he was a production geologist with Shell Upstream International in Nigeria. Outside of office, he enjoys volunteering for different organizations and also loves being a snow angel. That's wonderful. So he holds a Bachelor of Science in Geology and Mining from the University of Jos, that's Nigeria, as well as a Master of Science in Petroleum Geoscience from Imperial College London, UK. Please welcome Mr. Dennis Abdega. Great. So the next one earned a master's degree from Université Marine Boabi in Congo-Brazzaville and a PhD degree from Southern Illinois University in the United States. He worked as assistant professor of education in Colorado and is currently a postdoctoral associate at the University of Calgary. His research focuses on intercultural understanding, language, identities, teacher education, and critical literacy as a pedagogy to mediate social justice issues and educate for transformative social action. His work is published in books such as The Handbook of Critical Literacy and Developing Intercultural Competency in Higher Education, and has some articles in journals such as Linguistics and Education, Reflexion, Language and Literacy, Latinos and Education, and the Journal of International Students. Please welcome Dr. Jean Kaya. Our next panelist is an assistant professor in the Faculty of Social Work at the University of Calgary. Her research grapples with issues related to race, racism, victimization, and criminalization, and is informed by critical race theory, critical race feminism, and anti-racism. She has over 14 years of experience working as a social worker, counselor, and frontline worker with various marginalized populations, including women who have been abused, youth in conflict with law, and adults with various disabilities and mental health concerns. In an effort to center Black experience and perspective and confront Black anti-Black racism, she is actively involved in various activities across the University of Calgary and in the community. So please welcome Dr. Patrina Ginae. is His Excellency Bafedige Ouattara, Ambassador of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire to Canada. He is an expert in disarmament and international security issues and a specialist in international organizations, United Nations, African Union, and so on. He is one of the resource persons of the Ivorian Ministry of Foreign Affairs on issues of arms control, fight against international terrorism, and governance with the National Commission of the African Peer Review Mechanism of the African Union. Before being appointed in January 2021 as Ambassador of Côte d'Ivoire to Canada, Mr. Ouattara made his first steps in diplomacy from 2004 to 2008 as Chargé d'études, then Deputy Director in charge of international security issues at the Department of General and Humanitarian Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Côte d'Ivoire. In 2008, he was assigned as counselor to the permanent mission of Côte d'Ivoire to the United Nations in New York. He is in charge of the first committee of the United Nations General Assembly in charge of disarmament and international security issues. In 2013, he was appointed Ambassador Deputy Permanent Representative of Côte d'Ivoire to the United Nations to deal with the Ivorian crisis at the United Nations Security Council until 2015. He will be in charge of the management of the crisis exit process, post-crisis reconstruction, national reconciliation, peace building, and the supervision and implementation of the United Nations sanctions regime imposed on Côte d'Ivoire. After 8 years at the United Nations in New York, he returned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Côte d'Ivoire, where he occupies from 2016 to 2021 the functions of Director of African International Organization and Director of Americas and Caribbean Department. Since April 15, 2021, Mr. Bafedige Ouattara, who presented his credentials on September 9, 2021 to the Governor General of Canada, is the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire in Canada. His Excellency, Mr. Bafedige Ouattara, is a graduate of the diplomatic cycle of the National School of Administration of Côte d'Ivoire and holds a master's degree in law obtained at the University Alassane Ouattara of Bouaké. So please help me welcome Mr. Bafedige Ouattara.
Okay. Wow. Okay. The good things today, like the panel is going to be on our two official languages like French and English. So at the end of the panel, we are going to have a team just gonna try to do the report. So we have a team here, Salima, Aziz, and Bruno, right? So please, can you raise your hand? Everybody needs to say, okay, this is our take note. So I will kick off the conversation asking questions that draw out some of high level themes and trends we should be thinking about. That's the first thing. The second thing, each of you will have 3 to 5 minutes to answer, to give his opinion on the question. And then, the second half of our time today, we will open up the floor to give the opportunity to our entities, our different special guests, to ask questions, 3 questions maximum. Sounds good? Okay. Let's get started. So, today we are talking about culture and economic development. Before we jump into the subject, Dennis, what culture means for you? You have a microphone, yes?
Okay. Okay. All right. It's ready to go. Oh, okay. Hello. Thank you so much, Kazir. For me, culture, for me means, your makeup, your DNA. That's the way I think about culture. What really defines you. As we are born into something, we're born into a family, we're born into a culture. But for me, what I've seen is that over time, as you travel and you change, you move from one place to the other, sometimes you find, you kind of get to learn, you get to integrate, you get to change a couple of things. So for me, apart from that being you, it's that whole ability for you to understand what the environment is and use all that you know to make lives better and make your community better. So that's the way I see culture.
Thank you. Kaya, je pense que vous êtes francophone, allez-vous pour aller en français, et puis il n'y a pas de problème. De toutes les façons, on aura l'opportunité de résumer ça. So he's going to talk his French, and because after that, you have the opportunity to put everything together. The one time, the one in French in English, the one in English in French, to show it to the
Okay, since this one is just introduction, for me, culture is our ways of being, doing, knowing. It's our ways of celebrating. La culture, pour moi, c'est nos façons de vivre, nos façons de faire, toutes les choses que nous faisons dans la vie, nos façons de danser, nos façons de célébrer les anniversaires, si cela est possible, nos façons de cultiver, nos façons de danser, la musique, nos façons de faire des réunions. Comment est-ce qu'on fait la réunion ici, comment est-ce qu'on fait la réunion ailleurs. Donc pour moi, la culture, c'est tout ça. Ça englobe nos manières en fait. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait dans une culture donnée. La façon de danser, la façon de manger. Même manger, nous avons différentes manières de manger dépendant des cultures. Donc pour moi, la culture, c'est ça. Ça englobe pratiquement tout. C'est la vie, la culture, c'est la vie.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so it's almost as if you took the words out of my mouth. For me, I look at culture as the same thing in terms of ways of knowing, being, understanding, experiencing the world, groups of people coming together, having shared goals, perspectives. But I also look at culture as something that's fluid. It has also changed over time, and even in the context of the work I do, and we hear the concept of cultural competence. As a critical scholar, I critique the whole concept of cultural competence because it's very difficult to have competence in anyone's culture because there's so many cultures across societies. So I challenge students in the classroom to think critically about how we conceptualize culture because even within culture, people experience cultures differently. And so, just a few thoughts for now.
Thank you.
Pour moi, de mon point de vue, la culture, c'est vraiment l'homme. C'est ce qui nous définit, c'est ce qui nous pénètre, c'est ce qui nous représente, c'est ce qui nous traduit. Il n'y a pas de culture sans l'homme, et l'homme n'est pas sans la culture qui le définit. Bien sûr, on parle de culture démocratique, culture de la paix, culture ivoirienne, culture africaine. Tout ça pour dire que la culture englobe l'homme. C'est notre façon de vivre, c'est notre façon de percevoir le monde, c'est notre façon de percevoir notre environnement, c'est notre façon d'aller vers l'autre, à la rencontre de l'autre, sentir l'autre. Bref, nous sommes la culture.
Thank you very much. I think you all have said the same thing about culture. So that's interesting. So that being said, in the process of global mindset, we have noticed that three main factors that every investor should focus on: the political aspect, the regulation aspect, and then the cultural aspect. So, how does cultural activity help sustain community? What kind of cultural activity would be hardest for your community to do well? And what is the role of your institution, department, in creating opportunities that encourage such projects? Alors, je vais le dire rapidement en français. Je disais tantôt que dans le processus de ce qu'on appelle le Global Mindset, nous avons remarqué que les trois principaux facteurs sur lesquels tout investisseur devrait se concentrer sont l'aspect politique, la régulation et la culture. Alors la question est de savoir comment l'activité culturelle aide-t-elle à soutenir les communautés? Quels sont les types d'activités culturelles dans votre communauté que votre communauté aurait le plus de mal à se passer? Et dans ce sens-là, quel est le rôle de votre institution, département, dans la création d'opportunités qui encouragent de tels projets? Go first, Mr. Davis.
Okay. So how I look at it, where I start from is, why did I immigrate to Canada? I came to Canada because I wanted to have a good life. And I imagine that many people did the same thing too, that we all came to Canada because we had a good life. So coming to Canada, you come in with the things you know, about life and all that stuff. And everything about me is a representation of where I come from, of how I've grown. You know, not coming from the group, like from the very, coming from the poor home and trying to struggle, you know, through life, you know, learn to be hardworking, and you know, that all that sort of thing. Like, you know, people ask me, I said, like, I'm an explorer because, you know, culturally, I've been told or, you know, taught to explore. You know, so I'm not afraid of challenges. Even as I work as a geologist, I'm not afraid of going into a place and seeing stuff that you do not know. You build a picture out of it, right? But for me, coming to Canada, that has been my culture. You know, apart from, like, you know, coming from the food and the drink and the arts and all of that sort of things, which are things that we've added to my life. How have I been able to use that in building my community? You know, when I think about it, like, when I got to Calgary in 2014, everybody said it was the worst time to come here as a geologist. And I remember going to a hall of 200 people, 200 geologists, and you know, it was just a mess. But I told myself that, you know, I was going to go through this. You know, and thinking about it over the years now, working as a banker and doing very well at it, and being able to help, you know, other people transit from either one career to the next, or even helping Black immigrants or people of diverse cultures be able to access credit. You know, I can go back to say, hey, these are things that I've learned from my culture. These are things that have made me who I am. And I kind of use those sort of things to build community. So for me, what can I do? What is it that it's very, very, very important for me to see is that ability to be able to use who I am to impact society, to change people, to change policies, to see people differently. I've been in many places and people have told me, like, you know, what I know about, you know, maybe people who come from where you come from or for what, you know, you do, like, it's so different from who you are. You know, so that is the way I see culture, you know. Then the other things I see, you know, like, I get to give you the ability to talk about, because when we do that, then people start to appreciate every other thing about me. People begin to appreciate my hair, people begin to appreciate my music, people begin to appreciate the food I eat, you know, like the way I dance, you know, those sort of things, because of, you know, it has a positive impact to the things, you know, like, that is important to them. So, yeah, I hope that was a short answer.
Thank you, Dennis. Donc,
Je pense que j'ai oublié la question.
Ok,
Il y a trois volets, donc.
Je pense qu'il faut distribuer les questions. Parce que...
No, okay, no problem. I'm going to tell you again. So, let's go just to the question. You know what I mean? I said.
Chez moi, c'est en français.
Pardon, oui, c'est vrai. J'ai dit ça. Allez, comment l'activité. Ok, ma voix porte déjà, donc il n'y a pas de problème. Comment l'activité culturelle aide-t-elle à soutenir les communautés? Ça, c'est la première question. Et la deuxième question, c'est qu'il y a certainement des activités pour lesquelles nos communautés ne peuvent pas s'en passer. Alors, quels sont les différents engagements, mais les différentes actions que vous prenez afin de pouvoir soutenir ces communautés-là?
Merci beaucoup. Donc, l'effet de l'action ou bien de l'activité culturelle, je pense que nous l'avons déjà vécu depuis que nous sommes venus ici. Nous avons constaté que nous avons communiqué avec les autres. On a essayé de connaître qui est ici, qu'est-ce que nous faisons dans nos vies. Donc, l'activité culturelle nous permet de sortir de l'isolement, de rencontrer les autres et d'avoir des échanges. Et peu importe nos backgrounds, tous nous venons pour apprendre auprès des autres. Donc, quand nous venons ici, par exemple, personne ne connaît mieux que l'autre parce que nous faisons certainement des choses différentes. Mais quand nous nous rencontrons, c'est une façon pour nous de nous exprimer. Je pense que nous aurons une performance ici, donc on verra comment est-ce qu'on s'exprime. S'il n'y avait pas cette activité culturelle, nos artistes ne devraient pas avoir la possibilité de s'exprimer devant nous. Nous ne devrions pas être capables ou bien nous ne devrions pas avoir la possibilité de prendre plaisir à peut-être leur musique ou bien au son du tam-tam, peu importe ce que les artistes font. Donc, l'activité culturelle nous permet de sortir de l'isolement, de venir communiquer avec les autres et d'échanger. Qu'est-ce que nous faisons dans notre domaine pour soutenir des projets dans ce sens-là? En éducation, dans le sens formel, ce que moi je fais personnellement, c'est de travailler avec les futurs enseignants, parce que je sais que quand je travaille avec les enseignants, leur montrer que nous avons des différences qui font que nous puissions nous unir, c'est déjà un point très très fort. Donc, travailler avec les enseignants ou bien les futurs enseignants, c'est un point très essentiel pour moi parce que je sais qu'en éduquant les enseignants, je suis en train d'éduquer indirectement les élèves et en éduquant les élèves dans leur salle de classe, je suis aussi en train de contribuer à l'éducation de la communauté. Je vais prendre un exemple. Nous connaissons par exemple que les Africains noirs, en particulier, il y a beaucoup de stéréotypes. Quand les Africains noirs, ils sont dangereux, ils sont comme ceci, ils sont comme cela. Et si je travaille avec les enseignants et je leur montre comment nous ne sommes pas dangereux, j'invite par exemple des agents qui travaillent dans, je ne sais pas, des agences culturelles. Ces agents-là seront à mesure de démontrer que l'Africain noir n'est pas un Africain dangereux. Et ça permet à ces enseignants de transmettre cette connaissance-là à nos enfants. Je vais aussi au-delà d'enseigner seulement. Je rédige par exemple les subventions. Je peux rédiger une subvention dans le sens de travailler avec différentes organisations. Ça peut être des centres culturels, ça peut être des centres religieux, ça peut aussi être n'importe quel centre. Parfois, je travaille même avec les centres de ISL, enseignement de langue seconde, en rédigeant des subventions pour travailler avec différentes organisations. Je contribue aussi à l'activité culturelle. Et je sais qu'en le faisant, les différentes organisations peuvent inviter d'autres personnes et en invitant ces personnes-là, nous sortons de l'isolement parce que le quotidien nous démontre que chacun est chez lui, surtout quand il fait froid.